Good morning, everyone. Or is it afternoon? Look at us. We've seen a few seasons. Haven't we? We've lived. We've learned. We've loved. We've navigated the currents of life. Sometimes smooth. Sometimes a little rocky. And here we are, gathered today, with a shared curiosity, a shared hope. We live in a world that's constantly chasing the next big thing. The miracle cure. The complicated solution. We see the headlines, the endless stream of advice. It can be overwhelming, can't it? Especially as we get to a certain age. When the body starts sending us little reminders, a creaky joint here, a forgotten name there, we start thinking about slowing down, about managing, about accepting. But what if I told you that one of the most profound secrets to vibrant health and longevity, especially after 60, isn't found in a pharmacy, or a high-tech gym, or some exotic superfood flown in from the other side of the world? What if I told you that this secret was revealed to me, in a quiet moment, by a woman who had lived 119 years? A woman who held the title, for a time, of the oldest living person in Japan. Her name was Kane Tanaka. I had the incredible privilege of meeting her, sitting with her in her simple, peaceful home, surrounded by a life lived fully. And I asked her, as so many must have, "Kane-san, what is your secret?" She didn't launch into a complex diet plan or a rigorous exercise routine. She simply smiled, a smile that held the wisdom of over a century, and pointed to a bowl of fruit. Humble, everyday fruit. And she began to tell me about 5 specific fruits that were a constant in her incredibly long and healthy life. This isn't just a talk about healthy eating. This is a story about simplicity, about nature's quiet power, and about the profound wisdom that can be found in the most unexpected places. It's a story that has reshaped my own understanding of aging. And I believe it can offer something truly valuable to each of us here today. Get ready for a little intrigue, a little inspiration, and perhaps a new perspective on the power of a simple piece of fruit. If you're finding this message resonating with you and you want to receive more simple, actionable health tips every day, make sure to subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications. I remember sitting there, the afternoon sun casting a warm glow on her garden, the air smelling of earth and something sweet. She spoke softly, her voice carrying the weight of years, yet with a surprising clarity and strength. I leaned in, eager to absorb every word. Was it green tea? Was it some ancient Japanese herb? The suspense was building, at least for me. We all want the magic bullet, don't we? The one simple answer that will unlock the door to graceful aging. And then she started, with the first fruit. It wasn't anything I expected to be presented with such reverence. It was fruit number 1. Pomegranate, for a strong heart. Every morning, she said, her eyes twinkling like the seeds she was about to describe, I start with a few seeds of the pomegranate. She described them as little jewels, red, juicy, bursting with life. She spoke of how they helped her blood flow, keeping her heart strong and her complexion radiant. She even had a lovely image of herself carefully extracting the seeds in the early morning sun. Now, I have to be honest. Pomegranates always seemed a bit fussy to me. All those seeds. It felt like a lot of work for a small reward. For years, I'd walk past them in the grocery store, admiring their jewel-toned exterior but thinking, nah, too much effort. I was always looking for the easy button, the pre-sliced, the ready-to-eat. But the way she spoke, with such conviction and simplicity, about these little jewels, made me see them differently. It was a small morning ritual, a deliberate act of choosing vitality. She mentioned that her doctor told her pomegranates are rich in polyphenols. Those powerful antioxidants that are good for blood pressure and fighting inflammation, particularly beneficial. As she noted, for older folks. It struck me then, this wasn't just folk wisdom passed down through generations, it was backed by modern science. Yet delivered with the simple, undeniable truth of a life lived in harmony with nature. It was a perfect blend of ancient practice and contemporary understanding. After that conversation, I started buying pomegranates. My first few attempts at seeding one were, shall we say, messy. My kitchen looked like a crime scene from a very fruity movie. But with each try, I got a little better. A little faster. And as I started adding those little ruby seeds to my morning yogurt or just eating them by the spoonful, I did start to notice something. Not a sudden, dramatic change, but a subtle shift. A little more energy throughout the morning. A feeling of lightness. It was a quiet testament to the power of those little jewels, and the wisdom of a woman who had embraced them for over a century. Fruit number 2. Apple, the midday clarity. Lunchtime, she continued, her smile widening slightly, always includes an apple. She didn't elaborate with complex nutritional data or caloric breakdown. Her reason was beautifully simple and profoundly practical. It kept her from feeling hungry between meals and kept her mind clear. An apple, the most common of fruits, found in lunchboxes and fruit bowls across the world, yet often overlooked in our quest for the exotic and the trendy. We hear the old saying, of course, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's become almost a cliché. Something we nod along to but perhaps don't truly believe in the age of advanced medicine. But Kane-san lived that cliché. She highlighted the fiber in the skin, essential for good digestion. Then she said something that made me laugh. A light, airy sound that defied her age. A sound of genuine amusement. I haven't been constipated in 40 years. And with a gentle smile and a knowing look, she added, reinforcing the old adage, an apple a day, and I haven't had to see a doctor. I remember a period in my own life, years ago, when I was juggling a demanding job, family responsibilities, and what felt like a million other things. My energy levels were all over the place, and by mid-afternoon, my brain would often feel foggy, making it hard to focus. I was reaching for coffee or sugary snacks to power through. After meeting Kane-san, I started packing an apple with my lunch. It sounds almost too simple to be effective, right? But having that crisp, satisfying apple around 2 or 3 p.m. made a noticeable difference. It provided a natural lift, a sustained energy that didn't come with the crash of caffeine or sugar. And yes, I can attest to the digestive benefits she mentioned. It was a simple habit, easily adopted, that yielded surprising results. It taught me that sometimes, the most powerful solutions are the ones that have been right in front of us all along. Perhaps dismissed because of their very simplicity. Fruit number 3. Banana, the afternoon energy. After her midday nap, a ritual she cherished and one I've come to appreciate more and more myself as the years pass, came the banana. It's soft, easy to digest, and so good for my muscles. She explained. She touched on something many of us experience as we age, muscle cramps. Those sudden, sharp pains that can wake you up in the middle of the night or stop you in your tracks during the day. I don't get them, she stated simply, attributing it to the potassium in bananas, balancing electrolytes and keeping her legs nimble and strong. Bananas, another humble fruit. We see them everywhere, at the grocery store, the corner market, even gas stations. They're the ultimate grab-and-go snack. We often take them for granted. Just another item on the fruit stand. But for Kane-san, they were a source of gentle energy and muscular support. A perfect way to transition from rest back into the afternoon's activities. I used to suffer from pretty frequent leg cramps. Especially after being active. My doctor had mentioned potassium. But like many things, it didn't really click until I heard Kane-san's simple explanation. I started making a point of having a banana a few times a week. Particularly on days when I knew I'd be doing a lot of walking or gardening. It wasn't an overnight miracle. But gradually, I noticed the cramps became less frequent. Less intense. It was a small adjustment in my diet. Easily made. That had a tangible impact on my physical comfort and mobility. It reinforced the idea that sometimes, the body just needs a little bit of the right fuel to function optimally. And that fuel can be found in the most accessible places. Fruit number 4. Blueberries, sharpening the mind. Every week, she shared, her voice taking on a slightly more animated tone. My daughter brings me blueberries. She described eating them one by one, savoring the mix of sweet and tart. A mindful practice that connected her to the present moment. This is where the intrigue deepened for me. And I suspect, for many of you, we all worry about our memory as we age. It's a common concern, a silent fear that whispers at the back of our minds. Misplacing keys, forgetting a name, walking into a room and wondering why you're there. These little lapses can cause moments of anxiety. She told me her doctor had mentioned blueberries could help prevent memory decline. And then, with a look of profound gratitude for her family and perhaps a touch of playful pride in her own mental acuity, she said, "Even though I'm almost 120, I still remember the names of all my grandchildren and great-grandchildren." Think about that for a moment. Remembering the names of generations of family members at nearly 120. That is truly remarkable. There was a time when I was working on a complex project, requiring me to keep track of a lot of information and details. I found myself feeling overwhelmed, my focus wavering, and my memory not as sharp as I would have liked. I started adding blueberries to my breakfast cereal and snacking on them throughout the day, hoping for any cognitive boost. While I can't say it turned me into a supercomputer overnight, there was a noticeable improvement in my ability to concentrate and retain information. It felt like my brain had a little more fuel, a little more clarity. Blueberries have gained a reputation as a superfood, particularly for brain health, and it was fascinating to hear her, living proof of their potential benefits, speak of them with such gentle affection. It wasn't about chasing a trendy label, it was about a consistent, simple practice that supported her cognitive function for over a century. It's a powerful reminder that nourishing our brains is just as important as nourishing the rest of our bodies. Fruit number 5. Japanese mandarin, the sweetness of happiness. Finally, she spoke of her evening ritual, a Japanese mandarin. "I always have one in the evening," she said, her voice softening, a peaceful contentment settling over her features. "Not just for the gentle taste, though I do love that," she added, "but because it makes me feel happy." Happiness, an often overlooked, yet perhaps one of the most crucial ingredients in the recipe for longevity and overall well-being. We focus so much on the physical aspects of health, diet, exercise, sleep, that we sometimes forget the profound impact of our emotional state. She spoke of the vitamin C in mandarins, helping to keep her skin smooth and preventing aging. She challenged the notion that old age is dry and withered, a time of decline. People often think of old age as dry and withered, she said, a hint of playful defiance in her voice. "But I feel myself like a mandarin, small, yes, but full of energy." This was perhaps the most profound insight for me, and the one that resonated most deeply. It wasn't just about the physical benefits of the fruit, it was about the joy. The simple pleasure. The feeling of contentment that this small, sweet fruit brought to her life each evening. It was a moment of simple indulgence. A connection to something delicious and life-affirming. I have a strong childhood memory of my grandfather always having a bowl of mandarins on his kitchen counter during the winter months. The smell of peeling them would fill the air. A comforting, sweet fragrance. He always seemed so content. Sitting in his chair, slowly peeling a mandarin, section by section. For years, I just saw it as a habit. Now, I see it through a different lens. Through Kane-san's wisdom. That simple act wasn't just about eating a fruit, it was about a moment of peace. A connection to something natural and sweet. A small dose of happiness at the end of the day. Now, I keep a bowl of mandarins in my own home. And each time I peel one, I think of Kane-san and my grandfather. And I consciously embrace that moment of simple, fruity happiness. It's a small ritual, but it makes a difference in my evening routine. As she spoke, I wasn't just hearing a list of fruits and their nutritional properties. I was hearing the rhythm of a life lived intentionally, simply, and joyfully. Each fruit represented a facet of her approach to well-being: strength for the heart, clarity for the mind, energy for the body, sharpness for memory, and sweetness for the soul. The drama wasn't in some external battle against disease or decline, but in the quiet, persistent act of choosing life, of nurturing her body with the simple, powerful gifts of nature. The suspense, for me, was in wondering what simple wisdom she would share next. How each humble fruit held a key to her extraordinary longevity. She didn't talk about fighting aging, she talked about nurturing life. About supporting her body in its natural journey. She didn't talk about restricting herself with complicated rules, she talked about choosing what made her body feel grateful. It was a perspective shift. A move from a mindset of scarcity and struggle to one of abundance and harmony. I remember feeling, for a long time, that getting older meant I had to work harder. Do more. Try the latest fad to stay healthy. It was exhausting. I'd try a new diet, a new exercise program, a new supplement regimen, only to feel overwhelmed and discouraged if I couldn't stick to it perfectly. It felt like a constant uphill battle. But sitting with Kane-san, listening to her talk about her simple fruits, it was like a heavy weight was lifted. It wasn't about perfection, it was about consistency. It wasn't about deprivation, it was about nourishment. It was about finding joy in the everyday. It was a profound realization that true well-being isn't about conquering our bodies, but about cooperating with them, listening to their needs, and providing them with simple, wholesome support. We sat in silence for a few moments after she finished, the weight of her words settling upon me, not as a burden, but as a gentle truth. I came seeking a secret, a complex formula for longevity, something I could bottle and sell. And she gave me fruit. But as I said, it wasn't just about the fruit itself. It was about the approach. It was about consistency. It was about listening to her body and giving it what it needed. Simply and naturally. It was about finding joy in the small things, the color of a pomegranate seed, the fragrance of a mandarin. It was about a life lived in balance, respecting the natural rhythms of the body and the seasons. She wasn't advocating for a rigid diet, a life of strict rules and deprivation. I don't follow strict diets, she said with a gentle wave of her hand. I just choose what is natural, gentle, and makes my body grateful. What a beautiful way to put it, choosing what makes your body grateful. It's a shift in perspective from obligation to appreciation. This meeting, this simple conversation about fruit, changed something fundamental in me. I stopped chasing the complicated solutions and started embracing the simple ones. I began to pay more attention to how different foods made my body feel. Not just what the labels said. I started savoring those moments of peeling a mandarin, of biting into a crisp apple, of adding pomegranate seeds to my breakfast, of grabbing a banana before a walk. These small acts became anchors in my day. Reminders of Kane-san's wisdom and the power of simplicity. It's not about being perfect every day, it's about making conscious choices that nourish your body and soul. Consistently, gently. For us, in our 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, the lesson from Kane Tanaka is crystal clear and deeply relevant. We don't need to chase fads or strive for unrealistic ideals that leave us feeling inadequate. We can find vitality and well-being in the everyday, in the accessible, in the simple gifts that nature provides. We have the wisdom of years to understand the truth in simplicity. Kane Tanaka's life, a life that spanned over a century, and her simple secret, is a powerful reminder that true wealth isn't measured in possessions, but in vibrant health and inner peace. And that the path to a long and vibrant life doesn't have to be complicated or arduous. It can be found in the quiet wisdom of choosing what nourishes us, body and soul, with gratitude and joy. Her final message to me, the one that stayed with me long after our meeting, is a philosophy for living. Simple yet profound. It's a message to carry with us. A reminder of what truly matters. It appeared on the screen. A guiding light. Live simply. Eat wisely. Love deeply. That is the lesson from a woman who lived 119 years. It's not just about reaching a certain age, it's about living fully, vibrantly, and gratefully, for all the years we are given. It starts, as Kane-san showed me, with simple choices, consistently made. It starts with acknowledging the power in the humble, everyday gifts around us. It starts, perhaps, with just one piece of fruit, chosen with intention and consumed with gratitude. Thank you. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these incredible fruits resonated with you the most? Or which are you excited to incorporate into your own daily rhythm? Let me know in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, and if you found this message inspiring and want to discover more simple, powerful, and actionable ways to enhance your health and well-being, to navigate these golden years with vitality and joy. Be sure to subscribe to this channel right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future shares and tips. Let's continue this journey of simple well-being together.